Okay, so we're going to talk about question 2 for minor project 2 in this video. To create the scatter plot or scatter diagram for total gross sales and operating weekend costs or weekend gross sales, we need to have your data organized in the right way. So you can see from this Excel spreadsheet, we just have the movie name, which we don't even need column A. We could take that off because in your scatter plot, you won't have movie names. So it wouldn't matter. We could just delete that. But you only want really 2 columns of data. The first column on the left will be your x-axis. The column on the right is your y-axis, and you don't need to label them like that, but I just want you to see. Sometimes it's helpful to have that labeled. So your x-axis is opening gross sales. You can see that's down here on the bottom. So your X is at the bottom, your Y is over here, total gross sales. Now, as we do this, if you wanted to flip-flop these and have them on different sides, you could do that. It's just going to put your information in different places. So you could play with that if you wanted to. Now, to create this specific table, and yours can look differently, it doesn't have to look like this, but I do like the trend line in your scatter plot to just see which direction this is going, what the slope is. So with that, we can highlight the information. And once you have it highlighted, there are several ways to do your scatter plot. Down at the bottom here is a button. So you could go to charts, and instead of using this scatter plot, I would actually go to more and then select the scatter plot here. So here you have the information. So this is one basic way to do your chart. You can title your chart this way. You don't have your or your the names of your axes. So there's several ways to add those. If you wanted to format your axis, you could do that. You can, for example, if we wanted to change the minimum, instead of it starting at 0, we could start it at 200, and that's going to change your graph. In this case, I would start it at 0, but sometimes you'll notice that it will have a big jump. If you don't have data that starts at 0, you might have it starting at 200, and then you have all this empty space. So in this case, it looks fine as is, but just know that that is an option that you have. We also want to, like I said, add your name of your X and Y axis. So one way that you can do that is to come up here to these templates and just take a look at what's up here. Sometimes they have those as options. Sometimes they don't. And so I like playing around with it just to see what's out here. Now you also have quick elements. So here you can see you have data labels, you have axes. We have axes titles. That's what we're looking for, is our axes titles. So we want both of those. There we go. And then once you have that information on here, I like to move this up towards the top so I can see, and you just click and drag so you can see what the name of the columns are. In this case, I'll just overlay this. Oops. So we can create a new one. So for our chart title, it needs to be intuitive for your managerial report so that your audience or the reader of the report doesn't have to think too hard. You want to make this as easy as possible. So this is gross sales of top 100 movies in 2016. And over here, like I said, you have your total gross sales like we have it on the previous one. So your y-axis goes over here. Let's take this off. Here we go. So I can type total gross sales, and we have opening gross sales. There we go. Now to get the trend line, you can go to add element, add chart elements and hit trend line. And you have different options there, but I like the linear one. Once you have that selected, then you can tell it if you wanted a certain color. I like red because it stands out, but that's completely up to you. You can get fancy with it if you wanted a different widths or anything like that. You can make it pretty thick if you want that. So this is basically our scatter plot then for gross sales of the top 100 movies in 2016. Now to interpret this, I like to just let's take one for example. So the top movie had opening sales of 155 million. So if we take a look, our 155 million is, let's see, probably right here. Yep, 155.08. And then our gross sales is 532. So you can see that over here. So that way you can understand what's happening. But basically, this is showing a positive trend, an upward slope in the opening gross sales and the total gross sales.